Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. This guy right here is Evil Mike, or Mike if you prefer. And I got a review for you today. And today we're going to be talking about DC Comics, the Gotham War event. I'm going to review the first two issues. All the writers and information will be down below. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe on this guy's channel. It does help. All the likes, the comments, the interaction, helping me fight that eternal struggle with the algorithm, but I am trying to get as far as I can get, so please hit that like button, comment, hit the bell. You never know when I'm going to be dropping videos. So I'm going to be reviewing two issues in this in this review. This is the prelude issue, and then we got the first official issue, something like that. The first one is Batman Catwoman, the Gotham War Battle Lines, and the second issue is Batman 137. So let's get straight into it. This does take place after the events of Night Terrors, and it touches base with some other events that have happened. Just to let you know that if you're not caught up on Batman current stuff, but basically, if you know kind of what happened at the end of Night Terror, that's pretty much it. We'll get there. The book starts out with the random thug that just got done doing a crime with Mr. Pig. He's getting home, he's all bad and beaten. His daughter is like, "Hey, Dad, can we, there's dinner." He doesn't even care. He's so tired. He wants to go to bed. This henchman stuff is not working for him. A cat, scratches at his window. He seems to be a nice guy because he's kind of explaining to the cat, "Hey, I'm not going to hurt you." He gets this message like, "Hey, if you risk your life, you deserve the rewards," and it gives him an address in Alleytown. So, as I mentioned before, this does take place right after the events of Night Terrors, and it does catch you up a little bit. Basically, Batman was out of this event. Deadman was riding him like a lawnmower, and at the end of it, it basically exhausted Batman to the point where he knocked out. So that's kind of where we're starting off a little bit. So we're touching base with Zur in R here, which is the metaphysical version of Batman that Batman made himself to protect himself from psychic attacks. And now Zur, that's what I'm going to call him from now on, but Zur, he's coming forward, and Batman's like, "Wait a minute, I locked you up recently," which happened in the current issues of Batman. And Zur's like, "Oh yeah, I'm locked up, but I'm here for a reason," kind of thing. "Don't forget that," So we do get Batman waking up, and it's straight out of the last pages of Night Terrors. This was the bed he fell asleep in, kind of thing. Eventually, we do get a piece of new information, something that was new for me. I don't know if I knew that it happened, or maybe I forgot. But we do see that Bruce has an artificial hand, and at this moment, because they were, they had to undress him, Barbara knows that he has an artificial hand. There's no explanation on that currently, but it kind of we'll get back to it kind of thing. Either I missed it or it hasn't happened yet, but it seems like it will be touched, based on, because it kind of pops up a couple times. We get this scene where Batman, he turns off all his comms after waking up. And, he has briefly explained that it's a different city outside. He goes outside and it's very quiet, not like he's used to. He does eventually come upon some petty crime, and he ends up running upon these two henchmen that regularly work for different villains and are teaming up. The sight of Batman, they end up dropping their stuff and they take off. And this getaway is a little different because they actually get away from Batman. Batman chases in pursuit. As soon as he thinks he's about to get him, they end up disappearing, and he finds out that it looks like it was all trained, and they were just following what they had been trained, kind of thing. Something that Batman was not used to, kind of thing. We jump over to Catwoman, and Catwoman is basically in the training of training this common thug or whatever to be a better thug. That's kind of what she's going at right now. She's promising henchmen that if they come team up with her and join her elite crew, that she will give them the training they need to propel. We see we've seen this before with within the pages of Catwoman, but for those of y'all that are not familiar, this is Catwoman's HQ in Alleytown, basically, and she's got her whole I forget what they're called. They're called the Strays or something like that. But now she's even recruiting all the different henchmen, so hence that's going to be the background of this war kind of thing. So it kind of plans forward, but basically this whole scene here is one of the members telling Catwoman, "Hey, what are we gonna do? Batman's woken up. It's been about 8 months since or 8 weeks, I think, since he's been in that coma or whatever." And they're kind of flipping out. I will say that this is kind of the weird part for me. Like, Selina didn't have a plan for Batman to wake up, like, and doing what she's doing. Just side note. Okay, anyways, we jump over and we're Maxi Zeus, and he's trying to, like, break this power generator or whatever. And Tim Drake ends up, like, stopping him or whatever. But before he gets done, like, Batman intervenes, stating that he didn't need to help. He just wanted to touch base with Tim. Tim embraces him. They haven't seen him. Tim was one of the people that was desperately looking for Bruce recently. So, hence the whole connection kind of thing. This is basically when Batman gets the news that Catwoman wants to have this meeting. They're calling it like a mask off meeting is what it is. We get another scene with Catwoman and her crew basically getting ready for this mask off meeting and explaining what she thinks is going to go down. We do get to the unmasked meeting, and it's at the Kitty Club. Most of the Bat members are like, "Isn't this like a known villain hangout kind of thing?" And they're questioning, and there's some cool stuff. But basically, Selina shows up. She's explaining that she's been, like, gathering every henchman that she can, basically giving them elite tools to be better crooks, explaining that these, her teams will only be stealing from the rich and elite, and that is why Gotham is now quieter, safer, murders are down, crime's down, and basically she kind of states that this plan is working. Before she can get going, Batman, listening to all this, eventually he's like, "You know what, y'all are crazy." He was like, "A crime is a crime. It doesn't matter. Like, you can't look away. You can't look away on small crimes just because it's not a murder or something like that." Not only that, but he kind of gets mad at the Bat family for just sitting there and listening to this. He's amazed that the Bat family has been allowing this to build up or escalate to the situation it has. Eventually, Batman's just, he's pissed. He's like, fuck this. I'm not agreeing with this. It's basically like that line in the sand kind of thing. Most of the Bat family at this point kind of is still thinking about it, besides Red Hood. Jason Todd is kind of like, this is kind of interesting, maybe, but eventually Batman leaves the whole, situation, goes out into the alley. Tim does try and stop him and tries to lay some facts like, "Hey, crime is down, maybe this is working, why don't we give her a shot," kind of thing. And Batman's just like, "Screw this," hops in his Batmobile and takes off. So we get a scene where Catwoman goes back to her penthouse and she's thinking about calling Batman. She eventually doesn't do it, but it's because Jason Todd eventually sneaks into her penthouse and he's kind of watching her for a while, but eventually makes his presence known, which doesn't go so well. Selina doesn't take it too kindly that one of the Bat family broke in her house after this meeting, and she kind of laid down the lines, basically like stating that if Batman was to stop her, she would have to take excessive force kind of thing. Eventually we find out it's just basically Jason, saying, "Hey, I think you're right," kind of thing, and I'm going to get on your side. We do get another scene where the bat signal gets activated, and basically it's Renee Montoya, the current commissioner, and she's basically stating like, "Hey, I've been waiting for you to reappear, we need to establish some things. It's not going to be like it was with Jim Gordon, where Jim Gordon kind of gives you this information and you go out and catch these super criminals," and she's like, "Nah, we need to be on the same team," or kind of thing. And Batman's like, "Screw that, you haven't earned your your place," kind of thing. "You earn it, then come to me," and kind of thing. Honestly, in that one, for instance, I kind of didn't like Bruce's stance, but a lot's been going on with Bruce. We do get this one scene here with Riddler, and Riddler's watching everything. Basically, he's like, "Hey, Bats, looks like you need some friends," kind of thing. We jump back over, and this goes back to the beginning, the very opening pages with that crook. And this is basically that crook after he's being taught, those super skills, whatever. Breaks into a penthouse that's supposed to be, no one's supposed to be home kind of thing. It's supposed to be cut and dry. But lo and behold, there is somebody that is home, and that's kind of where we cut off right here, but we'll get to it momentarily. We get back to Batman, and he's basically like checking out different hoods in Gotham, looking at villain bars and stuff like that, and he's coming up short. All the henchmen are basically not there. There's this as he's looking for patrols, trying to find some kind of crime. He does find eventually like some sirens go off, and sure enough, it's a murder. And this goes back to that petty thug that we just saw a couple pages ago. And sure enough, he got shot while breaking into that, that penthouse or whatever. So basically, we have the first crime. It's a murder being, committed under, Catwoman's regime kind of thing. But that is the first issue, the Battle Lines issue. So real quickly, we're going to do Batman 137. This is the Rose Besh variant cover if you were interested. And basically we start out, and it's going to go pretty quick because we got Catwoman's crew, and they're doing their heist thing. And Batman's not having it. Batman, he's laying down that justice. Gotham is his city, and he knows his city. And he is just, taking out this trash that has appeared in his city. He's not going for it. And he is, quickly dismantling this crew. And there's one of the most badass scenes in this, because one of Catwoman's crew members is able to spew like fear toxin. And as you can see, Batman just like not only eats it up, but kind of like she states that he was laughing during that, like he was just so enthralled by this. We get Catwoman and her crew, and they're basically like kind of stating what Batman's been doing. He's been hitting up all of Catwoman's spots left and right, leaving no stone unturned kind of thing. Again, we go back to Tim Drake and Batman, and Tim Drake's kind of interrupting Batman, apprehending a criminal kind of thing, and Batman's being a little rough, trying to get some names kind of thing, and Tim Drake's like, hey man, you take a little easy kind of thing, you could use some help kind of thing. But he goes back to the whole laying down, maybe Catwoman might be right, and Batman goes back to the hell no, I can't believe you're doing this kind of thing. We get some other moments how like Batman's kind of accusing the Bat family on even considering any of this. Of course, we've already seen Jason Todd, and at this moment, Jason's setting up some stuff, trying to get a little deeper into the Bat family for Catwoman kind of thing. We get a scene over here with Jarvis Tetch, aka the Mad Hatter, and Professor Pig, and we get one of the cooler scenes, but we get a super villain meetup, and it's basically like, hey, they're running out of henchmen, so it looks like they're about to do something horrendous, but possibly a big team up kind of thing, get mad at both sides because they're losing, they can't do their crimes kind of thing. So during as this has been going on, Catwoman has been setting up a big crime with the diversion, using Jason Todd as this diversion, thinking because he could get into the Bat family kind of thing. Batman does not fall for this diversion. They go and do their little robbery as set up, and Batman's just not there. But Batman is somewhere. He's back in Alleytown at Catwoman's hideout, and he basically just goes through there and wrecks shop. Not only does he destroy a whole wall to enter the hideout, he just commences and beats ass pretty much. And the only kind of slow stopping point for Batman is Jason Todd, which he kind of wasn't surprised that Jason Todd shows up. There's a little conversation there, but the beatdown does persist, and Batman at this point is, he is pissed. Eventually, the rest of the Bat family show up, and some of the ones that we haven't seen in a little while, like Duke Thomas, but basically they start attacking Batman, trying to stop him from not only destroying all of Catwoman's like hideout and stuff like that. It doesn't really work. Batman's got them all figured out. He knows who's going to attack. Cassandra goes first. He dodges all her stuff, And I heard some talk about how is he supposed to, Batman is a better martial arts, hand-to-hand combat than Cassandra Cain. She's up there, but Batman is still a little higher up. But basically, he dismantles the Bat family left and right. Nightwing gives them a little trouble, but, like I said, a little trouble. Just as soon as they're finally, like, kind of working as a different type of group against Batman, because Batman also switched up his tactics with them. And Jason Todd hops in. As soon as he hops in, that's when Damian shows up, and Damian just takes his boy out in one hit. After that, basically, you know, Damian grabs Batman and they escape. The Bat family kind of lick their wounds. At that time, they're kind of like, man, what the hell did we just do? We just fought our dad, kind of thing. We do have a scene over here with, you know, at present time, since Batman was taking out all of Catwoman's crews, they had been broken out of jail recently to join her crew. Batman had sent them back, so we got a scene where, you know, parts of Catwoman's crew is successfully breaking them back out. Let me see. We got, you know, Catwoman getting the news that her hideout got broken into, kind of thing, by Batman. The diversion didn't fall. So we get to the last couple scenes, right? We got Batman recuperating, dealing with all this stuff with Damian by his side. He's at the brownstone. He gets a knock, and we get this attorney guy that comes through asking for Bruce Wayne, asking him to check his financial, you know, statuses, kind of thing. Basically, it's regarding Bruce Wayne Manor. Bruce Wayne takes off to go to the Batcave, you know, to check out what's going on, saying that someone bought the Batcave, you know, kind of thing, and he doesn't understand how that's even possible. Something must have slipped through his grasp while all these events were going on. As he gets to the cave, we got Zur that shows up, and Zur's like, man, you need this cave. You can't lose it, man. I don't care who the fuck has it. You can't lose the cave, man. You can't lose the cave. And Batman didn't really see anything. We do get the scene over here where he's like, hey man, you're in the cage, you can get back. And Zur's like, yeah, you're right, I'm in the cage, you know. So we get the scene where Batman doesn't know what's going on, doesn't know what he's going to do. And that's very strange, right? Batman doesn't know what's going on, kind of thing. All of a sudden he starts hearing some sounds at the bottom of the Batcave, and notices that the door to the Bruce Manor is open. At the time he was sitting there, he was kind of debating whether to close kind of keep the Batcave separate from the house and just build a wall right there so nobody would find it. But when he looks over there and sees the entrance open, that means somebody had already found it. And of course we find out who, but that is none other than Vandal Savage, and as soon as he shows up, he already knows that this is Bruce Wayne because he bought Bruce Wayne's house, and Batman is in the Batcave, kind of thing, and it's connected to the house. So he just assumes it's Bruce Wayne, kind of thing, and he's already put the pieces together. And that's where this issue leaves off. This is a fantastic... we just got out of one event, and I wouldn't call this a big event. It's not going to be a big event, but from coming out of one event, going into another, this is fantastic. It was a great read, great art. I love the setup. I didn't know what to expect. There are some small, complaints to the story, but, otherwise, I loved it. I thought it was great. Shout out to Bobby, who I know is keeping up with, all the Batman stuff. This is one of the main reasons I did this. I was going to kind of pass, but another reason is it's Batman Day, and we got Batman Day this Saturday at all your local comic book shops. You'll have a chance to get, I think, 1 of 4 free Batman comics that they offer for free to celebrate Batman Day, but you also can get some masks, some coloring books, some other stuff that they give away, free merch kind of thing, usually posters and stuff like that. So make sure and check your local LCS, go support, buy some stuff, and get those free Batman stuff. There's some cool foil stuff, and I don't know, go check it out. But that is my review. Please let me know what you were thinking down below about this series. I definitely want to hear, read your comments, see where y'all are at. That's what I got for you. Bah.